Hello, dear students. Today we will be seeing the simulation model of boost converter. We will see both open loop boost converter model as well as closed loop boost converter model in Simulink. Okay, so I have the simulation models ready with me. So I will be giving you the brief idea of boost converter. So as the name suggests, it increases the voltage as compared to input. For example, you have in this figure you can see that you have a 12 volt input or a supply voltage. So the boost converter will increase the voltage according to your design, and here in this case what we want, my supply voltage is 12 volt and I want the output voltage to be 18 volt, and accordingly we have designed the parameters of this boost converter. So basically this boost converter will increase or boost the voltage and it will give the output accordingly. Just like in case of AC you step up the voltage, here in case of DC you use the boost converter. You can relate like this. So these are the formulas that you have actually seen in power electronics, so we are directly going to use over here to prepare the design of the boost converter. So here the output voltage we want these the boost converter of these requirement. So I have a input of a 12 volt and I want the output to be 18 volt DC. So input output both are DC, so it is also called as DC to DC converter. I want the frequency to be 25 kilohertz. Then I want a converter to be 20 watt. Okay, so accordingly now let us uh, decide the parameters over here. So that you need to decide the duty cycle, because we are going to, as you can see over here, this is a supply voltage, this is a basic diagram of the boost converter, and this is supply voltage, this is inductor, this is diode, capacitor, and your resistor. So this is a switch. The switch can be thyristor, this switch can be MOSFET for so here in for the purpose of what you can say, just to make the circuit easy, you can use the switch as MOSFET, because if you use the thyristor you have to use a separate circuit for turning it off. So in order to give the signals, or what you can say, gate signal to turn on your MOSFET, you have to give the gate signal. You have to give the you have to give some pulses. So the duty cycle of the pulses can be designed like this. So these are the formulas of deciding the duty ratio of the gate circuit. So D is the duty cycle 1 minus Vs upon V0. So 1 minus input is 12 volt upon output voltage is 18 volt. Here you can see that the duty cycle should be 33.33. Duty cycle is the what you must be knowing the formula for duty cycle, the T on upon T on plus T off, or T on upon total time. So how you want your gate signals to turn on and turn off, this will decide how much of output you will require, how much of output you will get. Okay, so so you can even see that if you want different output other than 18 volt, like 20 volt, you can change it over here, and accordingly you will get the different duty ratio. Okay, then here you have the formula for deciding the inductance value. Then D into bracket 1 minus D square into R divided by 2F. F is frequency, D is the duty cycle that we have calculated, and R is the value of resistance that we are going to use over here. So you have the you have the value of D and F. So just put it over here. F is the switching frequency. It is 25 kilohertz. Remember, this is not power frequency. This is the switching frequency. Okay. So more the switching frequency, lesser the values of these components you will require. Okay, so you just concentrate on the Simulink model over here, because you have the idea of why we want a higher frequency of switching and all that. Just concentrate on Simulink model over here. So you can just put the values over here, and you are getting the L minimum value as 47.99 micro Henry. So this is a minimum value of inductance. Okay, this is minimum value of inductance, but we consider the 25% larger value of inductance current. So you can consider the 25% increase in inductor value, and accordingly you can consider the inductor value as 60 microhenry. Okay, so let us consider the inductor value as 16 microhenry. Okay, so similarly you can also decide the value of capacitor over here. The formula for capacitor is C is equal to duty ratio upon R into bracket delta V0 upon V0 into F, where delta V0 upon V0 is a ripple, okay, change in the voltage. Okay, because if you are assuming some voltage, output voltage, there can be some kind of ripples. So the ripples should not be more than 5%. So here we are considering the ripples to be less than 5%. So if you put that value less than 5%, 0.05, and if you put all the values which are already known over here, then you will get the value of capacitor as C equal to 16.44 microfarad. So the value of R you can calculate by using the formula V square by P. This is the value of resistance output value. So this is the output voltage is 18 volt, and power is 20 watt. So 18 square divided by 20 watt, the resistance value will be 16.2 ohm. So without wasting time, let us start with the building of boost converter. So I will be first showing you the boost open loop boost converter, then I will be showing the closed loop boost converter. Okay, so while creating the model, you will understand what is the difference between the two. So as you must be knowing, these are the components we will require. I will also build it in front of you, but the final product will be like this. This is just same as this diagram we have seen. Okay, so just wait. Yeah, so this is the input voltage, DC voltage, inductor. The here in case of switch we are using MOSFET, and this is a pulse generator. We are going to give the gate signal to it. Then this is a diode, and this is capacitor. This is resistor, and this is the scope where we are going to see whether I am going to get the same 18 volt output voltage. So this is nothing but the voltmeter. This is voltage measurement block which measures the output voltage. Just we use the voltmeter in real case. Okay, so here in Simulink you use this voltage measurement block. So here this is the RMS voltage. This is a ready-made block, so if you connect it to the output of it, you can directly get the RMS value of it. Okay, you can get the RMS value of your output. Okay, so let us build this. So let us take a new model. So basically we will require a DC supply. You can take the components from library browser. You can click on library browser and take the respective components. First of all, we will require a DC voltage source. So this is the DC voltage source. You have to take the values which are in a black colored font. I will also tell you when you have to use the blue colored fonts, but in upcoming lectures. Okay, so take this source over here. So click on that, right click on it, click on add block to model. then automatically it will come over here. Similarly, take other components that you will require. As you can see the diagram, you can easily understand what are the components that you require. Okay, so I'll quickly take the components. Then I will require a MOSFET. MOSFET. You have to take this MOSFET, right click on it, it will be added. Then I'll require a pulse generator, right? Because this is a controlled switch, this is not mechanical switch. So in order to turn it on, I need to give a pulse to it. So pulse generator. So we will take this pulse generator. Then we will require inductor, capacitor and resistor. So there is a component in Simulink called as series RLC branch. Series RLC branch. We will take that and I will tell you how you can take the required components out of it. Yes, I have to take some more components. Then I'll require a diode. I have to take this diode. Just a minute. Yes, I had to take this diode. Then I will require a voltage measurement block. Measurement block. This is the block that I will require. Then at last I'll take scope. So this is all we require and we will see if anything else is required. Yes. So let us quickly locate the components as per the diagram. Okay. So we can rotate it. Yes. As you can see in the diagram, you have to build the circuit like this. So you have taken the RLC branch. So let us see how you can take inductor, capacitor and resistor from this same series RLC branch. So you just double click on this. This is the branch type. So instead of RLC, take L. And now you have to put the value of the inductance. You can see this this document wherein we have chosen the inductance values to be 60 60 microhenry. So you have to change the value accordingly. Just yes. Then so similarly, I will copy it over here. I will paste 2 times because I have to prepare inductance and resistance and capacitance from the same. I'll rotate this, Control R. Okay. So simply by doing Control R, you will be able to rotate any component in Simulink. So here I want a capacitor. I'll click on it. Branch type to be capacitor. And what is the value of capacitor that you require? Capacitance value should be 16.44 microfarad. 16.44 microfarad. Yes. And the register value that we have calculated is 16.2 ohm. I have to take here register 16.2, apply. Okay. Yes. So the one more thing that you have to do is we have to remove the measurement block from the this diode and MOSFET, because there is also provision to measure the current flowing through MOSFET, the voltage across MOSFET and all that. But for time being here we don't want that. We are just concerned with the output voltage of the boost converter. So we will remove the measurement port from this diode as well. Otherwise you can find the current flowing through diode, voltage across diode and all the other parameters. Okay, so we will connect circuit according to the diagram. Yes, we'll do it quickly. Okay, so I will fit to view so that it will be easily visible to you. So here I have to change the input voltage to 12 volt, right? We want 12 volt at the input and we want 18 volt at the output. Yes, this is nothing but the voltmeter which will be able to measure the voltage, and here we want it to measure the output voltage. Similarly, we can take another voltage measurement block, we can connect it over here and we will also be able to measure the input voltage. Okay, so yes, so this is a scope which will show us. This is nothing but the DSO you use in the lab, where you are able to see the waveforms. Okay, so one last thing which is remaining over here is a configuration of the pulse generator. Okay, because we have this is very important step, otherwise you will not get the required output. Okay, so we have seen that we want a specific pulse length, or what you can say, the specific duty cycle of these pulses. Then and then only you will be getting you will get 18 volt, sorry, 18 volt at output and from the 12 volt input. Okay, so this is very important step in any kind of controlled switches. You have to configure this pulse generator. I will first connect it, I will double click into it, and let us see what are the things that you have to configure in the pulse generator block. Okay, so as you know, the period is nothing but inverse of switching frequency over here. Here the switching frequency is, you can see this, the switching frequency is 25 kilohertz. So the inverse of switching frequency is 1 upon 25,000 is 4 e raised to minus 5. 4 e raised to minus 5. You can calculate 4 e raised to minus 5. What is pulse width? This pulse width is nothing but the duty cycle. And we have calculated that my duty cycle should be 33.33. So I'll put 33.33. So this should be the pulse width. Then this pulse width will decide how much of output I want. So apply. Okay. So that's it. Almost we are done. So yes, I have configured. I hope I have configured each and everything. I'll save it. So boost, open loop, close loop. I'll also show close loop in the same file. So I have saved it. Let us run it for a small time, zero point 0.5 seconds. Let me run it. Yes, one more thing that is remaining is power GUI block. This is very important block you require while running almost all the simulations consisting of this power electronics and other components, because it is nothing but the solver or the environment that you require in order to run these components. So it can contains all the equations and all that. So you have to include this block in order to run any power electronic based simulation. So let me run it. Yes, now it's okay. So at the output here you can see I'm getting the 18-volt output. Okay, I'm getting 18-volt output. So as you can see here, this is 15, this is 20, and it is nothing but the output voltage with some distortions. Okay, this is a kind of distortion I was talking about. We have considered the assumed ripples to be less than 5%, but still there are some ripples over here, but you can see that the output is 18-volt as per our design. So this is the open loop boost converter. Okay, this is a boost converter. So why I'm calling it again and again as open loop converter, because if I change the input voltage to some other value, let us see is there any change in the output. Yes, you can see if I change the input voltage, I'm no longer getting the output voltage as 18 volt. I'm getting some different output which is higher, and again the distortions have increased to higher extent. Okay, so that is why I am again and again calling it as open loop control or open loop boost converter, wherein if I change the input voltage, my output is changing. But you must have studied the closed loop system, wherein even if you are changing the input, your output will remain constant. Okay, your output will remain constant irrespective of your input. So for that we use the feedback path, and whatever the change is there, so that controller we will use, and that controller will give the duties, what you can say, pulses to your MOSFET, and accordingly you will get the output. So instead of talking much about it, I'll tell you how to implement the closed loop boost converter. Okay, so first of all let me show it over here so that it will be clear to you. Okay, so this is nothing but a closed loop boost converter. So rest of the diagram is same. You can see here there is a input voltage, inductor, MOSFET, diode, capacitor, resistor, voltage measurement block, and uh, scope. This is a power GUI block. But instead of the that pulse generator, we are going to give the controlled pulses to it. The pulses to your MOSFET will be decided by your input. Okay, so you want the fixed output voltage. You want a fixed output voltage. For example, I want a fixed 18-volt output irrespective of my input. So you can see, first of all, yes, I'm giving the input voltage as 12-volt. Let us run it. Yes, and I am getting the 18-volt as output. So you will say what is different in it. Let me tell you now. Let me change the voltage from 10 volt to 15 volt. So what should be the output? So in case of open loop, your output changes, but in case of closed loop, so even though you are changing the input, your output will remain constant. Let us see if it is really happening over here. Yes, you can see over here the output is again 18 volt. Okay, there can be some distortions in it, but still it is managing to give you the 18 volt as output. Okay, also you can change the voltage to some 10 volt. But remember, this is boost converter, so you have to give the input voltage to be less than output voltage. You have to make sure this point. So 10 volt, and let us see, I'm getting am I getting the 18 volt DC as output? Yes, you can see the output is again 18 volt. So this circuit is giving you the 18 volt as output. So what is the difference in it? So I'll tell you, I will explain this point to you over here, and I will tell you how to build it using the previous open loop circuit. So it will be easier for you to understand, I guess. So here, what is the difference between this circuit and that open loop circuit? That open loop circuit, for that open loop circuit, we had given the pulse generator to it. Okay, so here, instead of directly giving the pulse generator, I'm controlling the pulses. How I'm controlling the pulses? By giving it feedback from the output. So how it is implemented? So see, for example, I have changed the input from 12 volt to some 15 volt. So here the output is no longer 18, it is something different. So the difference in output is given to the feedback of this PID controller. That now PID controller is changing that duty cycle in such a way that I am getting the fixed 18 volt as output. Okay, so even though you are changing the input, your circuit will give you, your boost converter will give you fixed 18 voltage. This is the difference of open loop controlled and closed loop controlled boost converter. Okay, so what is the main thing over here is this PID controller. This is a controller which changes the duty cycle and the pulse, what you can say, width of your gate signal over here to the MOSFET. So the main magic happens over here. So what is happening over here? If my input is changing, the difference in the output is given as feedback. Okay, so what is this? This is the constant voltage I want. Reference voltage is 18 voltage, which is given to the positive of this sum block, and the minus of, on that minus sign, I am connecting my error signal. So the difference between the two, so this is the desired output and this is the practical output. So difference between the desired output and the practical output, that error signal is given to the PID controller. That PID controller is giving the duty cycle and giving the pulses accordingly, according to your output, and that gate pulses is now given to your MOSFET, so that you are getting the 18 volt as output. So let us see how it is implemented. What are the components that we have that we have used over here? This is the constant block. Okay, this is very simple. This is add block or subtract block, you can directly use. This is PID controller, and this is PWM generator. So instead of using pulse generator, I am using PWM generator, which will change the width of your pulses according to your error signal. Okay, so, let us quickly do this over here. So instead of using this pulse generator, I'll remove that point. So yes, we will take constant block. So I'll go to library, then I'll take a constant block, add, then sum block, so you can use this or you can use subtract, because we want one positive and one negative, we want a error signal, so we will use this. Then we want PID controller, we want this PID controller of S domain. Then we will use PWM generator DC to DC. We want DC to DC PWM. Yes, this is the PWM generator we want. Okay, so quickly use the components over here. I will have to rotate them. Straight. Let me rotate this as well. We want 18 volt as output, so that reference voltage is or ideal voltage is given to the positive side of this summation block, and output, the practical output that I have got, is connected to the negative side of this block, and the error signal is given to the PID controller, and that PID controller is giving the signal, and this PWM generator is creating the corresponding pulses of error signal, the errors pulses corresponding to your error signal, and these pulses now I am connecting to my PWM generator. So let us see how to configure these blocks. So in PID controller we want only integral integral point or integral controller. We don't want proportional and derivative block, because we here integral controller is mostly used for boosting the output. So mostly here we are using the integral output. So there are different formulas by which you can tune the PID controller. The applications of PID controller is very applications are very vast, but I'm just now sticking to how to use it in this boost converter. So here uh, in PID controller I'll only require the integral controller in order to increase the or boost the output. Apply. Okay. So let us see how to configure this PWM generator block. Here the switching frequency in our case is 25 kilohertz. You can see that. Here you can see this. We want the uh, switching frequency to be 25 kilohertz. Okay. Apply. Okay. So I hope everything is clear. There is no change in all the things. Everything is just same. Only I have included this closed loop path over here. Yes. This voltage should be 12 volt. Yes, it is. And let us run it. So am I getting 18 volt? Yes. But let us change the input over here. Instead of 12 volt, let me take some other 8 volt. Apply. Okay. And in case of closed loop system, it should give me the 18 volt as output. Yes, it's showing me. Let us again change the voltage to some 15 volt. So it is again managing to give you the 18 volt output. So this is the difference between open loop and closed loop. boost converter. So this is open loop converter. So here you can here I forgot to show you the RMS value. You can just take the RMS block. You can easily take it. I'll show you, but you can easily do it. RMS, you can take it just, yes. This is the RMS block. You can take it, and this is a display block. Display, as the name suggests, it will display that value. Similar to RMS, there is also mean block which shows you the mean value. Display, I'm just showing it that how you can find it. Otherwise there is no difference between this and this. So display, you can add this and you will be able to see the RMS value of the output. You will be able to see the RMS value. Yes, so the output RMS value is 18.65. So this is what I wanted to discuss with you. This is the open loop boost converter, and this is a closed loop boost converter. Thank you so much for listening. We'll meet next time. Thank you.